I'm sitting in the dark in my truck, thumb over the send button, watching my own parents toast on the balcony of the house I secretly own. And the gift I'm about to deliver isn't wrapped in ribbon. It's wrapped in an eviction notice. Hey everyone. This is the story of the Christmas gala that was supposed to celebrate 40 years of the Miller Art Gallery, and became the night I finally stopped being the family doormat. My name is Delilah. I'm 27. I own a landscaping empire that clears almost $1 million a year, and until 3 months ago, I was still the invisible daughter who mowed the lawn for free. Let me take you back to how it all exploded. Growing up in the Miller family was like being the understudy in a play where everyone else had the starring role. My older brother Merrick got the private schools, the architecture degree, the constant praise. I got told, family first, Delilah, when I was 14 and gave up my art scholarship so Merrick could go to Andover. Preston, my father, patted my shoulder and said, "That's my girl." I never got another scholarship. I never got thanked. Instead, I built something myself. Verdant Horizons Landscaping. Started with 1 truck, 1 mower, and hands that never stopped working. Now I have 30 employees, 2 acres of greenhouse, and last year we grossed $847,000. But every time I walked into the Miller estate, I still felt 14. Still felt like the help. That all changed the night of the Christmas gala. December 22nd. I'm in my greenhouse pruning a competition-grade juniper bonsai worth $8,000 when my mother Genevieve calls. "No hello. Delilah, bring the bonsai tonight. The Vanderbilts are coming. We need to look cultured." I actually laughed. "It's not a centerpiece, Mom. It needs specific humidity. Don't be difficult. You owe us this much." Click. I should have said no. Instead, I wrapped the tree like it was headed to its own funeral and drove to the estate through the service entrance, because that's still where they expected me to park. Merrick was waiting, leaning against the brick in $1,000 shoes. He kicked the mud off my tire and smirked. "Stay out of sight tonight. The adults are doing business." I'm 27. He's 30. But in his eyes, I'm still the kid sister who digs holes for a living. I carried that 40-pound tree alone while he watched. Set it on the mahogany table in the grand hall. Adjusted the angle so the twist of the trunk caught the chandelier light perfectly. And that's when I heard them rehearsing. The private viewing room door was cracked. Slide projector glowing. Merrick's voice amplified, smooth as poison. "Slide 14 perfect." Then my father's polished presentation voice. "We'll tell the investors this is why we don't let children play in the dirt." Laughter. Merrick again. "Should we mention she charges people for this? Actual money for manual labor." More laughter. Rehearsed. Timed. They were going to put me on a 60-foot screen in front of Newport's elite, and use me as a punchline to make Merrick look better. I stood there, fingers still touching the bonsai branch, feeling something inside me snap. Not with noise but with perfect icy silence. I took the tree back. Carried it out the service door while a 20-year-old caterer watched with wide eyes and didn't ask questions. By the time Genevieve realized the centerpiece was gone, I was already home. But I wasn't done. 6 months earlier, my attorney Silas had quietly bought the Miller Estate's distressed mortgage through a shell company, Oakroot Holdings. I was their landlord. They never knew. I'd been carrying their debt like I'd carried everything else, hoping one day they'd finally see me. That night, they made sure I never would. I called Silas from the greenhouse, hands still shaking. Told Hank and Sarah, my real family, what I'd overheard. Silas spread the documents across the potting bench like a battle map. "I can send the eviction notice right now." I looked at the bonsai I'd just rescued. "No," I said. "They want to humiliate me publicly? I want them to see my face when I take everything." 9:20 p.m. I walked through the front doors of the Miller Art Gallery for the first time in my life, wearing a simple black dress Sarah kept in the office closet, and my muddy work boots underneath. The boots were intentional. The room was packed, chandeliers glittering, champagne flowing, and in the center of the hall, a pathetic crystal vase of grocery store roses where my bonsai was supposed to be. Genevieve saw me first. Her face went through shock, rage, then that terrifying calm mask. She marched over, nails digging into my arm. "How dare you show your face after embarrassing us? I smiled. I'm a Miller. This is a Miller event. Across the room, Preston and Merrick exchanged a look. They weren't waiting for the keynote anymore. They wanted me destroyed now. Merrick took the microphone. The lights dimmed. His award photo flashed up. Polite applause. Then mine. Me knee-deep in pond muck, covered in mud, laughing like an idiot. The room tittered. Merrick leaned in. Some of us build legacies. Others just dig holes. I bowed my head. Let my shoulders shake. Let them think they'd won. Preston whispered to Genevieve at the bar, loud enough for me to hear. She needed to remember her place. I checked my watch. 9:43. I gave Silas the nod. The front doors opened. A man in a dark suit walked straight down the center aisle. Preston barked into the mic. Excuse me, this is a private event. The man didn't stop. Reached the stage. Pulled out a cream-colored envelope. Preston Miller, you are hereby served with an immediate eviction notice on behalf of Oakroot Holdings, LLC, for $125,000 in unpaid rent. The room went dead. Preston's face cycled from red to white. Genevieve screamed, "Who owns Oakroot?" The process server's voice was calm, picked up by the mic. Legal ownership transferred 6 months ago. All notices were sent to your attorney of record. I started walking. Slow. Boots thudding against marble. The crowd parted like I was Moses, and they were the Red Sea. I stopped at the base of the stage. Looked up. Met my father's eyes. He whispered just loud enough. You. I didn't answer. Just held his gaze until he looked away first. Then I turned, boots flashing under the black dress, and walked out. Behind me, the Vanderbilt matriarch set her napkin down and left without a word. Half the room followed. As the doors closed, I heard Genevieve finally scream. The next morning, Genevieve showed up at my greenhouse in yesterday's dress and flats. Begged. Blamed. Called me ungrateful. I handed her a bankruptcy attorney's card and said the same 6 words I'd used the night before. I'm not your daughter right now. I'm your landlord. 3 months later, I stood on the balcony of what used to be the Miller estate, now Verdant Horizon's headquarters, watching workers take down the old sign. My bonsai sits in the corner office window, catching the winter sun, like it was always meant to be there. The walls are covered with photos of gardens I built with these scarred, honest hands. No family portraits. Just the people who chose me. Business is better than ever. The scandal made the papers. Clients want the woman who turned mud into an empire. I stopped explaining my boots. Sometimes I still catch myself whispering to the bonsai when I water it. I reclaimed my garden. Final line delivered slow and steady. They wanted the world to see me as the girl covered in mud. So I showed them what someone covered in mud can grow when she finally stops asking for permission. Moral of the story. The people who try to keep you small are always terrified of how big you've already become.